Greetings guys and welcome to video 1 of Don't Starve with the Reign of Giants expansion. This is one of my favorite single player games on Steam. I put many hours into this game and I thought I'd share this quite quirky, quite indie, sort of gothic style game with you. It's a hell of a lot of fun. It even has a multiplayer version, which is also a lot of fun, but I don't have any friends to play it with. QQ, forever alone. So let's start. So what you can do is you have a few modes. We're going to do the basic survival mode. And we're going to tick Reign of Giants on. And you have a whole bunch of characters you can choose from. So there's Wilson, he's like the jack of all trades character. There's Willow, she has slightly different stats. She comes with a lighter, she's immune to fire damage, and when she goes crazy she sets fires. Then we have Wolfgang, he's a strong man. He hates monsters in the dark, but he fights really well on a full belly. Wendy, her twin sister Abigail died mysteriously when she was younger, and you can bring the ghost of Abigail, your sister, to help you fight. Otherwise she's quite squishy, but very useful. WX78's a robot. He can eat anything, stale, rotten, it doesn't matter because he's a robot, and if we find gears we can upgrade him. Librarian, she can't sleep, she can't eat stale food. Sleeping is how you regain your sanity at night. But she can publish her own books, she can produce her own books and gain knowledge from that. And Woody is a hillbilly. He comes with an axe that never depletes, but he has a terrible secret. Maxwell, who's the main baddie, the villain of the game, I unlocked him by completing the single player campaign. We're not going to play as him, we'll play him later, but he's quite badass. He regains sanity automatically, comes with a sword, but he's really squishy. Wigfrid, quite intriguing. She gets stronger the more things she kills. I think we might play as her a little bit later. Weber, one of my favorite characters. He's a Spider-Man. He's friendly with spiders, but everything else that hates spiders also hates him because they think he's a spider, but he's actually a kid stuck inside a spider. Go figure. And he generates silk out of his beard, which is quite interesting. So I think we're gonna start as Willow. She's quite interesting, so let's go. Okay, so something to note here is that the world that is generated every time is randomly generated, and mostly I haven't come across it so far. No two worlds of mine have been the same, which makes every playthrough very different. Okay, so you have no idea what's going on, and you basically, in this game mode, we have to survive for as long as possible. So this nefarious villain, Maxwell, has dumped us on this unknown island, and we have to survive by, spoiler, don't starve. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So at the bottom tab here is our inventory, which is filling up with random junk. We have a lighter, which we can equip. And we can use that to burn things down, should we wish. We don't want to burn things down yet, but we can. So if we want to, we can click on it and we burn the tree down. She doesn't take fire damage, because she's a bit of a pyromaniac. Okay. So over here we have our hunger meter, the pitch of the stomach. So that's an indication, obviously, of how hungry you are. And then we have your HP meter here, 150. Obviously when that reaches 0, you are killed. And then we have our sanity meter. The lower that goes, the crazier you get, and when you go crazy, creepy shit happens in the game, which we'll hopefully get to soon. I won't spoil it. So let's, over here we have a whole bunch of things we can make. So we can make a campfire, but we need wood. We need a fire pit, but we need stone. We can make a torch. We don't need a torch because we have a lighter. We can make a trap to capture rabbits, and we can make an axe. So we're going to make an axe, and you'll see it has a percentage there, and every time you use it, it goes down a bit. Some little jazzy music to spice things up. Over here we have our world counter, so we're in world 1, because you can teleport to other worlds. I don't think you can escape, but there's a story as such. So in world 1, day 1, and this little radio clock is quite intuitive. So the yellow yellow bars indicate how much daylight is left. Then this pinky red is dusk, and that's an in-between time. It's still light, but darkness is coming. You can walk around, but it's basically an indication that you should start moving on to finding a place to set up shop for the night. And what you'll see is as dusk approaches and it starts getting dimmer, your sanity starts going down, because almost all of the characters in Don't Starve are afraid of the darkness. And you do not want to be caught in absolute darkness, because there is a creature in the dark, which is just known as Charlie. And Charlie is really not a nice thing at all. No, I don't think anyone's ever seen what Charlie is exactly, but basically it just tracks you in the night, and you eventually just perish, you die. Okay, so we're going to make a pickaxe. We're going to mine these gold veins. You can see they've got little bits of gold in them. And we gather more materials. So we've got a new material. So we've got flint, which is an old material, which we've got stone or rocks. And we have obviously the gold nugget. And all of them have different values. And no, not collecting gold doesn't really do anything for you. In terms of, it's not a currency. You use it to make interesting scientific devices. Okay, so another mechanic is, you obviously notice it's raining, and we have a rain saturation meter. So that's how saturated young Willow is. So when we're under trees, this bar goes up less because the trees are protecting us from the rain. And you can also hear that whilst we're under the tree, the little droplets hit the tree, not us. But we're going to stick out in the open for a bit. And oh, when we get fully saturated, all our clothes get damp, and we go insane, we go crazy faster. I'm not exactly sure what the rationale behind that is, but I suppose if I were damp all the time, I would be slightly crazy too. So I'm just mining like a crazy person, because I actually do quite like gold, even though it's not a currency. It's very useful. But also, I want the stone. Stone is a very, very important resource, and you go through a lot of it, so having plenty of stone is not a bad thing. Alright, let's go through some of the other things. So there's the axe. Obviously you can use it as a weapon and to chop trees down. Trees are important for lumber. Lumber's denoted there. So different types of trees. There are these evergreen trees and then the pine trees. The pine trees drop pine cones, which you can then replant to keep your trees going. You obviously don't want to run out of lumber. And the more it rains, the faster the trees grow. Let's collect some mushrooms. Okay. Next on we have some charcoal. We got that by burning one of these trees down, which is great. It looks like the rain's easing up. That's great. Basically, I'm kind of just aimlessly wandering around, getting a lay for the land. So you can see this is the map. This is the crude path we've cut, and there are different biomes. So over here we have a autumn biome. So there's like, if you look there, there's like a little picture of a cat. So there's a little cat creature there. Here there's a weird stone shrine, which we'll explore later. Over here there's a barren biome, which usually contains rock. Then there's the dark wood biome here with this dark green palette, which has pine trees. There's a nest over there, which we'll explore a little bit later when we have some armor. Over here there's a tundra biome. Over here there's like a spring summer biome, usually lots of berries and rich in materials. And then over here is this tundra biome, and usually there are rabbits in the tundra. And then just here on the tip, that's a pond, and this grey purpley biome, well, it's grey here, but it's actually purple if you explore the map more, is a swamp. And they all have different threats in them and different resources. So you have to have a pretty good idea of where everything is on the map in order to survive and collect materials you need. And obviously the point is to don't starve. Okay, so I'm gonna eat my seed that was on the ground. I'm gonna get this crank thing, and this crank thing, you can see it was, oh boy, we're nearly killing ourselves. So let's stay near the pigman. Get these mushrooms. Oh wait, they're gone. Okay, so at night time, I'll demonstrate it here. If you go into the darkness, your sanity bar goes crazy, right? Also, if you stick around, Charlie will attack you. So let's see. That's Charlie. You can never see it, but eventually it'll just keep attacking you. I don't want it to attack me because Charlie does a lot of damage. So we're just gonna stick near the fire. We can explore with our with our lighter, but I'll cover that in a later stage. And because we were near the fire and it stopped raining, our water saturation dropped really nicely. Okay. So there's some interesting things in this game. So you get different types of mushrooms. You get red mushrooms, green mushrooms, blue mushrooms, and they all do different things. So the green one saps a little bit of health. I lost 1 health, but I also gained a whole bunch of sanity for free, which is great. And only when they're cooked does it have this property. If you eat them raw, they're just like poisonous mushrooms. They really hurt you. Okay, so we can also plant some seeds. So we're going to mix some pine trees with evergreens. They don't like to be mixed, but we're going to do it anyway. And we can replant some more evergreens that look like this tree here, or uniquely we can make the nuts into toasty treats. So we toasted them and now we can eat them. So they're berries here, so you'll see we have 82 food. When we eat it, it goes to 91, so that was about 9. But if we cook it, it becomes more nutritious. We gain a bit of health as well with cooked foods, and we gain even more. So we process it better. We have a more nourishing meal if we cook our food. Okay. And there's a blue mushroom. These are very rare. They only come out in absolute darkness, and they disappear during the day. So that's not surprising. Burn this thing down. Burn this thing down too. So these spiky trees, they're kind of dead. They don't grow into, they don't produce other trees around them. And then there are these evil flowers, which I'll get to a little bit later. But basically, when you're nearby to them, you lose a little bit of sanity because they're creepy. Okay. Oh, I picked up a creepy flower by accident. And when you pick one up because it's creepy, you lose a bit of sanity too. However, if you pick up regular flowers, you gain sanity because it's a very peaceful activity, picking flowers. We have our jazzy music kicking in again. And yeah, we're just exploring the map. So we found over here is a hut, and that's the pigman's hut. And they respawn once every couple of days if they die. We found a cat's lair over here, this thing with the ball and string, the hollow stump. It produces cats. The cats, they hunt certain types of animals like birds and things and kill them, as cats do. So we're gonna eat this. We've got some inventory issues. Oh, okay, we're back in business, guys. Okay, so our inventory's maxed out. We can increase it if we build a backpack, but we need to be able to build a backpack first. So I'm going to explain that in a sec. So whilst I'm chopping this tree down, there are the tools. So at the moment we can make an axe, a pickaxe, and a hammer. They all do different things. We can then, if we get a special machine, so let's plant this. If we get a special machine later, we can research how to produce a shovel, make blueprints, and then use the science machine to make it if we have the right materials. Look, we found another cat. You can fight these cats, and they give you some meat. It's a little bit weird eating cat meat, but there it is. And they also drop cat tails, and the cat tails are also used in interesting scientific experiments, which I'll get to later. Okay, so the red mushrooms come out during the day, so they've disappeared now at dusk. So now green mushrooms come out at dusk. These guys. Okay, and these guys are great because they increase our sanity when they cook. So green mushrooms are great. Red mushrooms don't do anything really. If you eat them now raw, you lose a whole bunch of health. If you eat them cooked, you lose a bunch of health. But if you put them into a special device called a crock pot, which is basically like a braai, if you're South African, a barbecue. You can then cook up different interesting things with these red poisonous mushrooms that are rendered harmless when you use them in cooking, when you cook them. Not sure why exactly, but game logic. Okay, so we're gonna just... Oh, would you look at this? Okay, so I'm not gonna go into too much of a spoiler here, but basically there's only one of these in the whole stage, every game you play. And it's a glommer statue, and I'll get into what the glommers do a little bit later, but I'm gonna pick up the pan flutes, so you can pacify monsters and enemies with the pan flutes. And we're gonna mine this. Okay, so our pickaxe broke. We can build another pickaxe, which takes twigs, and it takes a bit of flint. So we have a new pickaxe. Cool. And now we have some marble. And yeah, let's just break this axe. We've got a spare axe. There we go. So you always carry, you have your hand, what you carry in your hand, your armor, and what's on your head. It's pretty intuitive. Yeah, we can pick up this blueprint. Alright, and we'll come back for these resources a little bit later, because we still have this marked on the map. Alrighty. Cool, so we have some very good stuff. Oh, look at this. We found the Pig King. Okay, so this fat bastard does nothing, but he has a whole bunch of pig guardians around him, which protect him during the day. They're not hostile to us, pigs are fine with us. We can befriend pigs if we feed them meat. And the Pig King, if we bring him strange artifacts, he will give us gold in return for these artifacts. And artifacts are really random things. They're like sink plugs, yeah, human junk basically from the real world. This is not current world. Okay, so this is another artifact which may or may not spawn in the area. Basically, these wolves are fire wolves. When they die, they burst into flame and burn everything and you around them. So we're immune to the fire, which is fine. That is a fire staff. If we pick that up, these guys all wake up and will eat us, or we can attack them. Okay, so there's spiders. Spiders don't like us, and they will bite you and will take damage. But they can be kited. So, and then destroyed, and then you get meat, monster meat. The monster meat's not too great. And you can see when we attack them, the other spiders nearby come to join the fray. But whilst they're taking damage, they stun locked, which is very, very useful. And we abuse that all the time. We should be. Okay, we're running out of light, so we're going to make camp here. And this fire tab is very important. Like if you're caught in the dark, we have a lighter, but other characters don't. If you're caught in the dark, Charlie will eat you. So what you can do is you have choices. You can either make one of these two fire pits. So a fire pit is permanent, but it takes rocks, which is quite a rare resource. And then a campfire just takes grass and a bit of wood. It's temporary. This will burn out and turn into ash eventually. Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to cook a whole bunch of these up. And we're just going to keep them. Okay, and you can see the rain's not coming down as heavily. In fact, it stopped, and because I'm near the fire, this thing's dropping like a stone. If I move away, that arrow doesn't go down as fast. Alright. And, oh, another feature is I gain sanity when I'm near or pretty much on top of fires. So you can see here, I'm gaining a spot of sanity. It's great. The fire's going low, so we can add more fuel to it. So we added some logs there, and it's increased. We're going to get this guy to come and attack us. You notice we're running slowly through the webs around the spider nest. Okay. Monster meat's not very good. It's toxic if you eat it. You gain a bit of hunger, which is great, but you lose a bit of health. And but you won't starve to death, and when you're in the starving state, your health drops every second you're starving, which is bad. So You can lose a little bit of health, gain this. You lose sanity because obviously it's crazy eating monster meat. That's nuts. So you lose a bit of the old sanity. We're actually quite low here, so we're gonna cook all of this up. It's great. We're going to... Oh, look at this. I forgot about this. If we equip our lighter during the day, our sanity slowly increases. It slowly boosts. It's very useful. So pretty much with Willow, to have an economic playthrough, you keep the lighter equipped during the daylight hours. Okay, we're coming to a spooky area. And the spooky area has graves, which you can dig up later on. I'm just eating the berries as I find them. You'll notice your uncooked berries, they give you a little bit of HP, which is great. But they don't heal you, so any cooked foods heal you. I guess kind of makes sense. And the carry capacity for most basic items is 40, so we maxed out in the rocks. Here, this is a wormhole. It's a portal. You can jump into it and it'll teleport you someplace else. I don't really want to jump into it. Also, when you jump into it, it's kind of nuts because you're jumping into a freaking hole in the ground that's like looks like a butthole sphincter. So that's a mad thing to do, so you lose sanity. It's a crazy event. So you lose a lot of sanity every time you travel through wormholes, but you can get to inaccessible areas or you can traverse really fast distances thanks to wormhole technology or butthole sphincter tech. Alright, so all the graveyards are marked on the map, which is very useful. Some of them have unmarked graves. And graveyards, interestingly enough, for some reason, during the full moon, which I'll point out next time it's dark, ghosts come out to party, which is interesting. And you can kill ghosts to harvest ectoplasm, which you can use as a resource. Oh, it's not ectoplasm. The ectoplasm is called nightmare fuel, yes. And that's a resource you can use for evil experiments and creating interesting things. Okay. Right, so sanity, you want to keep the sanity high because crazy things happen, and this is going to sound really weird, but you get attacked by aspects of your imagination. Yes, you heard it right, your imagination attacks you. Oh, and there's a little mole here. And the mole, he drills around and then he pops his head up every now and then, and if you round when he pops his head up, you can kill him. And he gives you meat. So what you can do is, they love eating minerals, so you can drop minerals on the ground and bait them. And then you pick the minerals up and you kill the mole man. And then you have its meat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this blueprint. It gives me a bit of sanity off the bat, which is great. And the blueprint basically allows you to instantly build things at your science machine that you wouldn't normally be able to. You'd have to research at other means. But if you have the blueprints, you can build it instantly. So you'll see here we have the old bell. So we need Glommer's wings and a Glommer's flower to make an old bell. And the Glommer's that beast, that statue, that picture of the statue. It's like a weird bug-type Pokemon. Okay, next is the swamp. The swamp is terrifying. The swamp has weird tentacle things that come out the ground and fuck you up. You can die really easily if you're not well equipped. So we're staying out of the swamp for now. Get some seeds. There's also a suspicious dirt pile. We'll get to that later as well. It basically leads to some interesting elephant type enemy. Or not enemy, elephant friend that you can slay for a lot of meat. It's like a woolly mammoth. You can slay it, it does fight back, and it drops a whole bunch of meat, which is very useful in winter when food is scarce. Yes, there's a summer, spring, winter, and autumn, and they all do various things, like snow is obviously bad, Anyway, and yeah, you can kill the olifant, um, and it will give you a whole bunch of meat and a trunk. Its trunk, and you can use the trunk for also more arcane experiments. So there's another mole here. We're gonna bait this mole as well and get some free meat. Okay, pick it up. Slay him. He recently ate a whole bunch of flint around his burrow, so we'll get his flint too. Thank you very much. And if you get a shovel, you can dig up that burrow and get any gems or minerals that the little guy has been eating, because he eats them and then he takes them back to his burrow for his collection, because he's a real bastard. Okay, so I'm quite pro killing these little mole worms. Mostly just because it's just so easy. Okay, so it looks like we've attracted the attention of one. Here we go. Okay, we've got yet more minerals. Our inventory is quite full though. Okay, I'm gonna use these minerals we found. Take them out. Oh, we weren't paying attention, we might get caught out here, so I'm gonna equip this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna burn this. And that gives you, it'll extinguish itself eventually, but it's given us a little bit of time. So yeah, what we're gonna do, build a more permanent fire, and then we're gonna cook this. We're gonna eat it. Okay, cool. So we're back to full health. The roasted seeds gave us a little bit more HP than we would normally get. We're gonna eat a couple of these. We're gonna cook this thing. We're gonna stay near the fire so our sanity increases. I'm gonna eat another one. We're gonna eat some of these delicious roasted berries. Delicious. Okay, so then the perishable goods like your mushrooms, your meat, your cooked stuff, they all have this green bar that's slowly decreasing. That's basically how much it's perishing. When it gets to about slightly more than halfway, it turns orange, this bar. Instead of green, it's orange, and that means it's stale, but you can still eat it. And then red is like severely stale / rotten. You can eat it, but you suffer some sanity penalties. And then if it keeps going, it turns into rot, which is just this disgusting gloop of ickiness. So yeah, we have two options. We can either keep fueling this fire, or we can just burn stuff around us. So I'm okay with burning down half the forest. Okay, maybe not. Let's head back to our campfire. Okay, we found another road. When you're on the roads, you run a little bit faster, which is quite nice. Okay, we found some ponds. Some ponds, you can fish in the ponds if you have a fishing rod. And there are also these frogs that come out. The frogs are seasonal, and we can lay a trap for them. We're not going to do that right now, but we'll have a trap nearby. Okay, what you do is the frogs are quite hostile towards you. They don't like you. They're aggressive buggers. So they'll attack you, and then you lead them to these traps, and then they get stuck in the trap, and then you harvest meat because the trap just kills them. It's not an ethical trap, not at all. It's meant for hunting, not capturing. Okay, but we don't need frogs. We've got plenty of food, so we're just gonna keep exploring. Oh, excellent! We found. So we can give them. If you give pigs vegetarian food, lots of bees. If you attack these beehives, a whole bunch of bees come out and fuck you up. So that's not the greatest. What we can do though is we can feed this pig some meat, and he's our friend now, and he follows us, and he can protect us from many things. So let us utilize him. And oh, this pig's name is Mickey. Of course it is. Hello, Mickey. Welcome to the XCOM unit. Oh wait. Okay, but maybe he could be like an XCOM soldier and just die really horribly. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay. So, oh, I accidentally picked the flower. I'm gonna eat it. Usually you gain a little bit of HP when you eat a flower, and it also increases our sanity, so it wasn't a complete waste. Okay, we're nearly maxed out on our grass and our twigs, so I'm not gonna bother picking up more of those. Oh, and look, our vegetables are getting a little bit stale, so if we eat some, we only get a little bit of HP. Oh, and our pig is freaking out because it's nearly nighttime. Do not freak out, pig. To me, rally. We're gonna take him out. Get out. Our pig man, he's not doing well. Get your shit together, pig man. Oh, the pigs. That's why they have their little houses. They don't like the darkness, and they're really smart. You can learn a lot from a pig man. Okay, right. Okay. We're just gonna keep taking out these mole men as we find them. Oh, and there's some lightning in the background. I haven't been even following my own rule about keeping the lights on during the day. So the lights are during the night. The night's insanity overrides the positive effect of carrying a flaming implement that Willow loves so much. But during the day, there's no nighttime, so we gain a little bit of sanity. So it's all about balancing out the negative sanity with the good sanity. If that makes any sense. Okay, so we're still exploring. We found many biomes. We found a whole bunch of bees' nests, which we can use to get honey later. Autumn biome, a place where we can mine stone. The stone regenerates over time. And how that happens is great boulders crash down, asteroids crash down from space, and land as big hunks of rock, either gold or normal rock, and we can then mine it. So that's how they ensure that there's always a supply of rock, which you would think is a finite resource that can't grow back. But no, you can. Obviously trees, you have to make sure you don't destroy or chop them all down. You need to plant a few seeds as you chop. Hey, Mickey's coming back. Yeah, Mickey's advising us that we need to be near fire. I think it's right. Okay, so we're getting a little bit cold because yeah. So what we need to do is we're gonna build a straw hat, and the straw hat protects us somewhat from the rain. Yeah, and what we need for straw hats, 12 bits of grass, and because it's raining on us a lot. I think we spawned in spring, which is a bad time. Because we spawned in spring, it's raining a lot, which is not good. Because, like I mentioned earlier, if this gets to like 100%, we're saturated. You can see all of our stuff has a blue tinge here. That's also not good. And the wetter we are, the more we lose sanity. So we need to be mindful of that. So let's see if Mickey wants to join us here by the fire. And obviously when it rains, your fire burns down much faster. That was kind of gross. Yes it was. So we needed to stop raining. That would be great. And I think we're going to just keep exploring. This road looks like it's cutting this way, so we're going to head up and see if we can meet up with the road. And then I think I might... you want to build your base. So we can build a base by making a science machine, which needs gold, wood, and stone. And then you can start building more intriguing things. We can also buy a grass suit, which is a type of armor. But we can build a better armor later, so I'm gonna probably, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna put it on. Okay, so that's a grass suit, so we have an axe in hand, a grass suit and armor, and a straw hat. And the more we wear the hat, the more it wears, the more damage we take, the more this grass suit breaks down. Okay, so we're sticking near the fire. We're really saturated. We're losing sanity like crazy. Mostly because it's wet and it's raining and it's dark. Let's equip our little. And we're so wet and it is so dark that even standing on or near a fire cannot make Wendy happy. Which is sad. I'm gonna eat more magic mushrooms. You'll see we lost a bit of health, but we gained sanity. We always want to keep that topped up. We will run out of sanity eventually, or run low on sanity, and you'll see why I want to keep the sanity high. Ugh, this is the worst. You know, Willow, you're right. This couldn't get any worse. No, we never said that. Okay, and it's still raining. It's still raining. Oh, and we're getting attacked by a very angry bee. I think we wandered too close to its proximity. Yeah, so we're back in the tundra biome. Tundra biome is always interesting. And oh, one of the jokes about Reign of Giants is that it's called rain, not rain like rain of a king, but rain as in the precipitation from the sky. Because in this expansion, they've added more characters, they've added more items, and it's just difficult. And one of the difficult things, let's collect some poop, is the whole managing the rain condition. Okay, so this evil altar with the dead pig heads around it, this basically respawns us. If we die, it's not game over, we will respawn at this point, which is useful. Okay, great. So this is useful. We found a, oh, you know, I play this so much I take it for granted. So the little birds that chirp around, they dig up seeds. The seeds you can eat if you're in a pinch. You can also use them to plant crops later. These guys here are called beefalo. They're friendly to humans unless you attack them. You do not want to attack them unless you're very well prepared. Attacking them is suicidal. Okay, and it stopped raining, but because we're still saturated, we're not dry, we're losing sanity at a rate of knots. Okay. Right, so these pigs have randomly spawned in the game, and they've spawned near what are these things called? A merman. Merman, yes. Merman hut. Okay, so I'm just trying to stand in the fire. She doesn't take fire damage, and I'm just trying to get as dry as possible, so my sanity can recover somewhat. So I'm gonna light this poop on fire, and I'm gonna stand in the fire. There we go. Oh, and the mermen have come out. And it's a royal rumble. Who will survive, guys? Find out. I have a feeling the mermen will survive. Yeah. Okay. I'd love... Okay, so we're gonna have a fight going on here. we found a previous occupant of the Hunger Games, as it were. He didn't do so well. Alright, great. We're dry now. You can see our inventory is no longer highlighted blue, which is great. We're going to lose sanity less quickly, which is obviously also excellent. I think right now we need to prioritize getting some more food. We're a little bit on the hungry side. So we have a whole bunch of food in our inventory. We have these frog legs, delicious. A little morsel, which we obtained from the little moles we killed so mercilessly. We're going to fight these spider bastards. Oh, there are lots of them. Okay, we're going to run away from the spider bastards. Oh my god, there's so many. Fighting spiders one at a time, easy peasy, but they're like the sand people. They fight in numbers. Yeah, I'm not interested in meat. What they can drop is they can drop a spider gland, meat or silk. The meat you can use in either eating out of desperation, or you can use it in special cooking recipes. The silk you can use, the spider silk you can use for crafting very interesting items, and the spider glands you can use to make healing salves and poultices, which can really help you out when you're knocking on death's door. Okay, so we can see there are two islands, there are two sides of the island. I think the other side would have to go up and around, but we'll see. Maybe they connect. Maybe they don't. Okay, we're no longer wet, but we are pretty much starving. Okay, so this is great. We found a beefalo herd, and a beefalo herd we can acquire wool from the beefalo later, and wool can be used to make a whole range of different items. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to stop our nomadic existence. Oh, and here you can see, so that's that's a monster, an aspect of our imagination. There's another one coming out, and the more insane we get, the more prevalent they become. And then eventually, when we get very insane, those shadowy things coalesce into like a real thing that can attack and eat you. And then you have to attack your imagination back, your imaginary monsters, and when they die and you vanquish them, you become less insane and more sane. Because that makes sense, right? The frogs have gone back to bed inside the ponds. They only come out during the day, and oh dear. So that's one of Willow's perks, or ticks, whichever you want to call it, is she lights fires spontaneously when she's nervous. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a campfire. Because you can only make food on a proper campfire. So we're gonna eat this cooked frog leg. Delicious. We're gonna roast all this meat. These little morsels, baby moles. And we're gonna make a delicious meal of this. Smash it all in our face. Look at her. She's like, oh yeah, that's the stuff. Alright, charcoal. Smells like fire. She's obsessed with fires. Spoiler. Bunch of twigs. Good for fires, amongst other things. So flammable. Hooray. The poor man's fire starter. Cut grass, ready for burning, or maybe crafting. Can't make anew sucks with these. What the fuck is an anew suck? Anew sucks. Gold. Mysterious crank thing. Some poop. Some ash. Okay, and then obviously if I right click on this, I'll eat that and I'll play that. I don't want to do that. I can equip that, If I right click, we're going to keep the stay near the fire. You can burn poop as well. Add it as a fuel. You can burn grass. It's not very efficient. Logs are the best. Charcoal is very good. Twigs are also good. Not that efficient either. So it's logs or charcoal preferably. But if you're in a pinch and you have no other materials to feed the fire with, you'll do fine with other things. Okay, so we're gonna get this rubber thing. All the artifacts, this ring thing and the crank thing, they're always surrounded by these evil bastard flowers. Alrighty, so it's day 6. I think I'm going to call the video short there. Thank you guys very much for joining me with one of my favorite single-player games, Don't Starve, and catch me next time for the next video. Cheers, guys. Sorry, let's try that over. Next time we will improve our food situation and establish a base. And catch me next time when we accomplish all of these things.